It's rookie camp season, and today we're looking at the Colts and getting our first look at Tyler Warren. We're going to watch him work through some drills and catch some balls. But before you dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at all the rookie camp clips right here on the channel. Soon we'll be looking at mini camp and OTAs as well, and then down the line training camp. So if you want to see what your players are doing behind the scenes, click that button. Stop missing out. We're looking at Tyler Warren today. I got almost 2 minutes of clips from rookie camp here. We're going to talk some ball. We're going to loop this and keep talking ball like we always do. But here he is. Here he is. You got the hair hanging out there. You got your first round pick ready to make an impact on this offense. A guy that you can throw all over the offense. Inline, outline, blocking, route running. There he is. Boom. A very reliable tight end. That is the one thing you say. Very reliable. Sticky hands. Sticky hands in traffic. Just right in there. Sticks right in there. That's one thing you say about Tyler Warren. Used all over the place last year. He took advantage of his situation at Penn State. All the wide receivers, I'll just say all of them. It's not really all of them, but all of them transferred. And he had to be the guy. He had to step it up, and he did. He did. He took advantage of that opportunity. Had over 30% of the targets last year, which is elite for a tight end prospect. Well over 100 targets, just getting the work, grinding it out, getting carries out of the backfield, just being the offense. Him and the running backs. He was the offense for Penn State. He helped keep that offense moving. Mr. Reliable. Steady hands. That's what you're getting out of him, Colts fans. That's what you're getting. You can move him around. So metrically, playerprofiler.com, you compare his metrics, his production metrics with his athleticism, with what they have. And they drew a comparison with those numbers to Jason Witten. Now, play-wise, difference, but grit, determination factor, reliability rating, it makes sense, and it really depends on what Jason Witten you're thinking about. But I'm thinking early Dallas Cowboys, Tennessee Jason Witten with Tony Romo when he was racking up catches, and you just did not understand it because he wasn't like the fastest, most twitched up tight end in the league, but he was always open. He was just always there after the catch. Remember the helmet coming? I see that from Tyler Warren, like the grittiness, just always being there. Just somehow being open, just being reliable in the red zone, just getting those targets. I think the one thing for his production standpoint, for his development, is the quarterback situation. It's ambiguous right now. You got Anthony Richardson versus Danny Dimes this offseason. You got a robust quarterback class in 2026 in the draft. It could change, but he's also very reliable. He's also NFL ready. He's ready to make an impact. You can move him around. You can do a lot of things with him. Him and Colston Loveland, two different types of tight end prospect. Colston Loveland, great down the seam. Great route runner. Great for fantasy. Great for the offense he's with. Just a great fit where he's at. Tyler Warren, if I need my tight end to do a lot of things, if I need my tight end to be reliable, if I need him to be the outlet, if I need him to be the security blanket, if I need a player overall compared to the other positions that I feel good, that's just very safe, that's very sound, the odds are highly unlikely that he's not going to bust, that's Tyler Warren. That's Tyler Warren, just different players, but the hands are so sticky, so refined when in traffic with DBs there, back in the end zone, big play moments. Again, there was a big debate between the two tight ends, Colston Loveland and Warren. I look at them differently. I look at them in different offenses, and I look at them how they're going to be used. It's going to be different. And also, we looked at what the coaches said in interviews at the draft, and it makes sense. I mean, how he was used at Penn State, he was used all over the place. This is a guy who's smart. I said this in his video last week. I believe it came out last week. But he saw that opportunity. He didn't mention it one for one. He didn't throw anybody under the bus, but the way it's worded, you can kind of see it because they asked him, why didn't you transfer? Sure, you had a bunch of other offers. And he goes, I didn't really realize it. I knew it was in Penn State. I was in the system. I like it. But on top of that, you see all those wide receivers go. You see all of them. It was a list of wide receivers, like 5 of them. Keandre Lambert going to Auburn, leading the team in targets, getting drafted in this year's draft in the 5th round to the Chargers. Target competition left, and he took advantage of it. He took advantage of it in a big way. And you got to commend him. He could have left with those wide receivers. He could have took a better deal. That could have happened. He saw that. Smart, loyal player that's going to stick with the Colts, stick with the system. As long as you stick with him, he's going to stick with you, and he's going to develop into the system, be a guy. He's going to be carving out a role sooner than later. And like I said, it wasn't a one-for-one comparison, but I just see the grittiness factor in him, kind of like a Witten or one of those old-school tight ends. That's just somehow always going to be open, somehow always going to be reliable, going to be that security blanket, especially once you get that quarterback prospect that's climbing the ranks, and they need that tight end. That's what you got here. You got that. Now, different players, athletically and stuff, but reliable. Like, that's what we saw at Penn State. That's what we saw. And he soaked it up. He soaked up the work. The red zone workload, the ability to catch the ball in traffic, the sticky hands, the good concentration. Tyler Warren's a huge get for the Colts. Fantasy football-wise, tight ends, you just got to wait a little bit sometimes. You just got to wait a little bit sometimes. Sometimes you see a good tight end and you got to wait. Sometimes you don't. And that's the gamble you got to make. And that's just the tight end spot. It's one of the hardest positions in sports because you're really learning 2 positions. But the talent's there. And I would bet over time, once he gets acclimated, you got a tight end here that's just going to be a mainstay in the offense. That's going to get work. That's going to get targets. Now, the wide receiver position is vastly underrated here for the Colts. They got a lot of talent there from top to the bottom. But he should be getting that work to the point where he's going to get you some good weeks. This year, he's going to be a gamble. Due to the offense, due to quarterback position, Dynasty is expensive because of the name cachet, draft capital, and people chasing the tight end spot. He could be a guy, if you're chasing running backs, that you can buy next year a little bit cheaper because we see how ambiguous his quarterback situation, that could happen. I'm not planning for that. I'm just saying that could happen, and I might put my ducks in a row in a few of these leagues to where I could take advantage of that and make sure I get me Tyler Warren maybe next year with some rookie picks. Maybe I trade for him. Maybe I buy him a little bit on the cheap. Maybe I move some players around or something in season. Maybe I strike in season as things get ambiguous. Or maybe Danny Dimes comes in and he throws 5 picks, and maybe you can make that move. Maybe you can do that in a league with somebody that's very hot and cold from week to week. Maybe you could do that. But there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of different strategy you can do. Or you just draft them and hoard them. Or you stay away from the tight end position completely. A lot of people do that. Unless it's like a guy like Brock Bowers. And Brock Bowers is a guy that you could have saw coming a few years before even getting drafted. Tyler Warren's a little bit of a different case. Especially you got some questions here with things at the quarterback spot. But also a player that you might be able to get him later and have your cake and eat it too, or you just draft him. But you are looking at a guy that's going to be very reliable on this offense for years. He's going to be there for years. You might have a ramp-up period, you might not, but he's going to be there for years, just being a mainstay, cornerstone piece for the Colts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.